total, like, not listening mode. I hate it when he does that. Oh my god, it makes me so mad when I know he hears me and doesn't listen. Oh, D.
You were being so good for so long.
You'll be such a fox chaser. Fox chasing old D.
I guess part of the reason I was hesitant about California at first was the drought shit, but I should probably realize there's enough money in California that they're not leaving until the last drop is done.
Oh yeah, it'll be another 100 years before they suck this place completely dry. We'll be dead by then, so who cares? Chris Smalls. I think my wife has talked to me about him before.
I follow him. I haven't been following him super close lately, but I know he was definitely one of the biggest pushers. He was like the first one to be fired for complaining about the conditions in the NYC warehouse.
Yeah.
Mainly about like the coronavirus conditions, like people not being able to distance and mask properly, and people being let in with high temperatures and shit.
Yeah.
And while he was complaining about all that, he got fired for violating social distancing.
Doing a new unionization effort in the New York City warehouse sometimes this July. Well, that's cool. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled on it. Let's see what happens. I'm sure Amazon is very concerned with social distancing, only amongst people who are complaining about unsafe and unsanitary work conditions. We want to make sure they social distance. Everybody else.
I worked there for 3 years, and I can't even imagine how it was even possible to social distance in that environment.
It just probably wasn't.
Because there's no way, like, if you were to social distance, you'd have to wait probably, like, in the aisle half the time for the other person to finish in the aisle so you could safely go in and do it.
Dude, you got out right at the right fucking time. You quit that job, little did you know, just months before it turned into a fucking madhouse. I mean, it was already a fucking madhouse, but...
Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to deal with the amount of overtime that they were starting to do, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't have an overtime exception. I just had the FMLA, and the FMLA wouldn't have covered that much overtime.
Yeah. I work in an Amazon warehouse, and you can get written up for not social distancing. Don't know how any of the other warehouses are. Yeah.
I just don't know how you make rate social distancing, bro. Do they do, like, rate adjustments?
Yeah, are you guys, like, lowering your rate? Like, how do you do it? How do you keep from fucking going up and down stairs past people? How do you stay 6 feet from somebody when you're filling bins? Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And if you work at one of the robot warehouses, it's probably a little bit easier. But
Maybe.
I didn't work at a robot one.
Yeah. I figure it's a little bit of positivity. It's nice that we do have some legit labor leaders despite all the challenges they face. Yep, agreed. It's not exactly everything that we need to be happening, but I'm not going to poo-poo somebody moving in the right direction.
He was also one of those dudes calling for a general strike on, like, Inauguration Day and stuff. Or previous general strikes before that. And...
Yep. I mean, a general strike right at the beginning of the Biden presidency, which would have been so sweet, because it would have actually allowed laborers in this country to exert some fucking post-electoral pressure on him. They gave up their entire pressure campaign by falling in line behind him almost as soon as Bernie was scuttled. They didn't use any of that time to force concessions and force appointments out of him. Everybody just fell in line and bought their Biden merch.
Oh yeah, the beginning of the pandemic would have been even better.
Oh yeah, fucking A. I mean, even now, like, we're still suffering from the economic doldrum of this pandemic. There's still tens and tens of thousands of people who lost their businesses and livelihoods. Like, there's still tens and tens and tens of thousands of people that had to leave decent jobs and move to some adjacent industry job that sucks. Like, we're still living in a moment where we could capitalize on this fucking momentum, but it's slowly but surely fucking receding. And I don't know when another fucking class consciousness moment like this is going to come along in this fucking country. I mean, this underscored the fucking class war that's going on in this country.
Yeah, the whole fact that the economy bounced right back while everyone were losing their jobs.
It never even had to bounce back. It just kept fucking implausibly moving at an upward trajectory while everything was closed down. Just fucking revealing what a goddamn fucking bubble it is. What a fucking completely falsely inflated bubble it is. The rich got insanely more wealthy during the fucking pandemic. So it's just like they consolidated tons and tons of smaller businesses lost tons and tons of competition. The rich just fucking, like every other goddamn fucking tragedy, they benefit from it. People won't protest for their rights during a pandemic. It'll take something worse to bring about the change we want. I mean, that's what I'm afraid of. Like, look, I understand this. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that, like, people aren't going to look at this fucking last year and go like, whoa. Shit is fucking out of whack. Shit is upside down. And it's time to hit the fucking streets and take back this power. Because the robber barons are back and they've taken it. And now look at what they're doing. They're forcing us into COVID-infested fucking factories to work during a global pandemic, firing us for not social distancing when they don't provide the ability to do it. I mean, what do you do? Like, when is another moment like this going to come along? Another 20 years? Another 30 years? Somebody that would have been my kid is 20 or 30, then it comes around again, you know what I mean? You don't see shit like this. Not from a class consciousness perspective. I mean, people were asked to fucking stay home from their jobs, were given no money, lost their livelihoods. Tons of people are right on the precipice of losing their homes as soon as this rent moratorium and fucking mortgage moratorium expires nationally. People are just standing right on the edge looking down the barrel of like, well, everything I've worked for is gone now. This is about to happen.
And even if you are evicted, it's like bankruptcy is pretty much guaranteed for back pay.
It's going to be insane. It's going to wipe out more wealth from the fucking bottom 90% of people than the fucking 2008 crash did. Once it's said and done. And that's assuming that doesn't precipitate yet another crash. Because all the material conditions, or not all, but most of the material conditions that were present in 2008 are there now and worse.
Yeah, it's just not mortgage bonds this time.
It's just the same functional idea, just different fucking exotic trading fucking things. And here we stand with this huge, like, fucking giant hot air balloon of an economy. And if it does tank, the richest of the rich will get rich on it. That's the great thing about it, is you think, well, when it tanks, those rich people will learn a lesson. Those rich people are fucking positioned to exploit the tanking.
Like, didn't you kind of bring up in a flash fried that maybe Elon Musk might have shorted Bitcoin before he went on fucking SNL?
Who would have stopped him?
Yeah.
Who would have stopped him? He knows that whenever he tweets Bitcoin, there's a rally.
Or a fall.
Or a fall, depending on what he says. So he goes on fucking Saturday Night Live and says Bitcoin is a hustle, which he knows is going to be interpreted negatively.
Yeah, like whatever the context was, it's a headline.
Right. And Bitcoin falls off the fucking cliff. Well, I guarantee you there are people that held short positions on Bitcoin that made a fuck ton of money. So it's like, how do you know Elon Musk isn't one of those dudes? Let's pump Dogecoin is what I'm talking about, not Bitcoin necessarily. It's same difference.
I mean, he did that a little bit, affected that too.
Sure.
So.
But, you know what I mean? How do we know? How do we know Elon Musk didn't know that he was going to tank that stock and just short it a fucking week before he went on? Well, not stock, but tank the value of the currency.
I mean, it's basically a stock. It's a theoretical currency.
Technically, yeah. It's just insane. Theaters are starting to open again. All these meme stock people, I think rightfully so, are tossing money at AMC going like, look, people are fucking starving for this shit. Make your theaters better. Bring it back. Bring the theater back big. You know, they're making this fucking bet on Wall Street, and Wall Street's freaking out about it and pausing trading. Just like, if this was some other stock and it was rich people rallying on it, they wouldn't pause fucking trading because they know that just money's being made hand over fist. But the higher that stock goes, the more all these hedge funds that shorted AMC at the start of the fucking pandemic when they knew they had to be closed for an indeterminate amount of time are losing their fucking asses. Because the fiscals are coming out and the stock value is not going to meet the short. It's going to be way above the short, so they're going to lose their fucking asses. They put a ton of money on the short position. So it's like now that rich people and their hedge funds and their little gambling game has lost a little bit of money, they lost a hand of poker and now they want to stop. They want to stop bets on the table. And it's like, wait a minute now. Hold the fucking phone. Is this a casino or no? And the answer is, yeah, it's a casino, but we run it. So we get to decide, invalidating the bets on the table. You're going to go ahead and pause your trading on this stock for today due to irregularities in the trading. Irregularities meaning rich people are losing money. That's the irregularity in trading, is when rich people lose a lot of money.
I think GameStop was probably opposed to the memes more because like they were actually open during the pandemic. Like they actually like finagled their way around the rules so that they could stay open during the pandemic.
I can almost guarantee you that they might have been opposed to like the way that the trading was going, but no company is opposed to their stock fucking 100 times, like doubling 100 times overnight. Like it just doesn't happen. And it's like AMC has already started to put that new investment capital to work. It's clearing its balance sheet, renovating its theaters, fixing up some of its more run-down theaters, and blah, 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 upgrading the ones that need it. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually putting this money to work, and people are going to go enjoy the fruits of this investment, but it's a big negative for Wall Street. Think about it. Human beings are actually benefiting from this interaction with a company. Human beings for the last year have given up one of their cultural touchstones, which is going to the film, getting a fucking bucket of popcorn and a half gallon of fucking soda and just, you know, sitting and losing yourself in that kind of group experience where we all go experience this fantasy together, right? It seems unimportant, but it's a huge cultural touchstone for us in this country. And so this is coming back in a big way in these theaters. People, for memes or whatever, average people are going like, you know what? These theaters are about to come back. I'm going to buy some of that stock. And they buy it, And the stock goes up, and these companies go, well, fucking hey, we're going to make our theaters bigger and better then. And people get to enjoy better theaters, and that cultural fucking device that we all kind of rely on for our psychological stability in some ways is made a better experience for us. But you know what? It's a problem on Wall Street because rich people are losing money because something that they thought was dead didn't die.
I don't even understand why shorts are a thing. Like, you think after, like, The Big Short, they put some clamps on that so it's not so easy to profit off of the failure of the economy.
But they don't want that option removed because a bunch of rich people were members of Bain Capital and made a fuck ton of money when he shorted that stock, even though they all called him crazy. At the end of the day, they all made their nut. He was vindicated, so they don't want... Why do they want to patch that up? That's the new money-making scheme. Let's blow this motherfucker up and short it all. All right, Johnny. I'll see you later, buddy. It was nice knowing you, homie, but...
Are you gonna unmod him too?
Oh, yeah, he's banned. So...
Is that unmod him too?
Yes. Okay. He can't post, so he can't be modded. Got no problem with G-Time, but I just can't look at my fucking chat and see nonsense every fucking 5 seconds, so... You gotta go, buddy. You gotta go. Regardless of what's happening in the long run, the rich have control and have leverage. Well, yeah. I mean, the only leverage that we have against the rich is our numbers and the fact that our labor is central to their money-making scheme. And when I say our labor, I don't just mean in the United States. I mean global labor. They still require people. They still require people to run their factories. They still require people to sew their clothes. They still require people to transport their goods. And while we have that and the numbers, we've got leverage. But that's it. Soon as part of that balance falls away, we don't have this option anymore. Then you won't hear Paul Zigo talking about a labor revolution anymore because there won't be a market for one. You know, once a sufficient amount of these large fucking industries are, you know, automated, I mean, what are you going to do?
Got a fun episode coming out about that.
What?
We
got a Frogger. You see him over there right next to the...
Dinoaur's watching him too.
Yeah, you watching that Frogger? You go say hi to him? You gonna make a froggy friend? Yeah, you don't want nothing to do with that frog, huh? He's a big frog. He's a big old grown frog. I'm gonna have to go move you off the porch, froggy boy. Sorry. Got a little frog visitor. Little frog interruption.
What do you think?
That's your cousin Benny the frog? Oh, I didn't know, Leon. All right, well, fine enough. Benny, you are welcome here. Mi casa, su casa, as they say. You might want to not be out in the real, like, bright areas over here. I mean, I know that bugs come over here, so good on you for that, but there's also foxes, and they want to eat you. So just so you're aware, Benny, of the foxuation.
No. I just tell them about Dinoaur's little fox burst.
I mean, they heard me talking about it at the beginning. Them that tuned in right away. It's, it's been a while, but Dinoaur had a little foxy outburst today. Mom, Dad, and Kits were out and playing, and Dinoaur just couldn't control himself. He just took off. Wouldn't come to me, chased the dad fox around in a circle. Dad fox was like trotting. You could tell he was just bored. He was just like, oh, whatever. Dinoaur's like, meh, trying to chase him. Kits go hide, and then Mama Fox eventually, like, Dad Fox ran off, got away from Dinoaur, and then Mama Fox came out and was like, wasn't running, was like making advances on Dinoaur, and I was like, at that point, he started listening to me and came his ass back. Mama Fox is like half the size of Dad Fox. The male fox of this mated pair, I would say is maybe 5 to 10 pounds, well, maybe not 10. I would say he's 5 pounds max less than Dinoaur. He's a big dude. He's a big old fox. Like, no joke. Mama Fox is about half the size of Dad Fox. So, roughly half the size of Dinoaur. And she's the one that was like, you know what? This game's over, motherfucker. Come next to me now. She was just like, I'm going to move towards you. And he was like, all right. I finally listened to me. Now I can hear Dad. You're lucky my dad's calling, bitch. Huh, D? That's how it went down today, huh? Boy, that was real ballsy the way you scared those cute little fluff balls. That was real ballsy. You scared them away. Like they were out having fun and stuff and minding their own business, and you were like a total asshole. That was real cool, D. You're so cool, D.
Dude, we would have a frog and cricket apocalypse without those foxes.
Dude, I want them to stay. I want them to have fucking everything. For as long as I'm here, I want them here. Dude, having foxes on your property, unless you've got chickens or something, that's like a blessing right there. Dude, they eat all kinds of nasties you don't want near your house. Fucking roaches, crickets, June bugs, beetles, centipedes, spiders, frogs, all that shit you'd rather not have hopping, slithering around your fucking, yeah, they eat snakes. I don't think that they'll go after like poisonous snakes and shit, but like garter snakes and shit. I'm not real worried about garter snakes out here. Snakes are my not a large worry of mine, especially since I got this shit cut back. Like in the summer, if I would have like not taken care of my yard back here and it had grown up to like mid-calf height on me, that's fucking rattlesnake apocalypse waiting to happen right there. My Savannah monitor will eat any pest I have. There you go. Let that motherfucker roam the house a little bit.
Yeah. Cricket controls the house bugs pretty well, but he doesn't kill them all the way sometimes. So we've had to scoop up some half-dead limping bugs.
I mean, he does the job.
Yeah.
He definitely fucking will take a bug that might be able to fly or scurry away from us and functionally disable it to where it's pretty easy to just pick it up with some tissue, call it a day. If you had any animal guard your property, what would you choose? A hippo. 100%. Not even joking either. Like fucking, what's his name? Pablo Escobar used to have a little zoo, but he also had hippos that like were in the moat part of his property. Like the moat part of his property was also where he stored his hippos. Hippos are fucking vicious. Most dangerous shit in the fucking world right there is a hippopotamus.
Yeah. Hippo moat.
Yep, you get a moat, you build a fucking moat surrounding your entire fucking shit, and you surround that shit with a herd of fucking hippos, dude. Nobody without a fucking battalion is coming in your house. You ain't coming by boat. You have to parachute onto my little island. And if that's the case, if you're going to do that, you're going to parachute right into the shoe bills. Because in the water, I got hippos. And on the land, I got shoe bills. And those motherfuckers are irate. They're gonna give you the stink eye, and you're gonna wish you never even fucking landed on my shit. I'm an equal opportunity guy though, and while I think that the most efficient way to do it would be hippos, I think it would be more intimidating, honestly, if I had a number of dangerous type of animals, right? Like if I had like a giant grizzly bear family that lived on my property that killed everybody but me. If I had like a pack of wolves that roamed around, like big old fucking timber wolves, like Arctic timber wolves, twice the size of a normal wolf, just fucking dire wolves hanging around on my property. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
We need a castle surrounded by a smaller wall for our cuddly pets.
Right.
Followed by all the guardian animals.
Right. A whole ring of the castle that has the guardian animals in it, but we have a bridge that's only accessible from the inside to go over it and observe it.
Yeah.
But in order to come in, you'd have to fucking come through the goddamn animals. Sucks to be you, bro. I'd have like some different rings. Like you'd let's say you got past the fucking hippos. You'd enter a ring and you'd just be like, whoa, it's just like jungle in here. But little do you know that that jungle is fucking patrolled by giant, hungry anacondas, dude. You're wrapped up. You ain't finding your way through my maze. I'll have every deadly creature on the goddamn planet. At the center is me. You want to get to the Tootsie Roll center, you better start licking. You ain't getting through. There's no person on earth that gets through, dude.
That's the fucking mistake they made in Lord of the Rings. They only had people.
Yeah. True. Dude, I'm telling you though, you get rid of all of this, like all of the need for all this complexity goes away if I get my actual dream, which is an underwater sea base. Dude, I know this sounds really disconcerting to most people, but I'm telling you, if this existed, I could live there and I would fucking love it. A house, not a house, a compound built at like the bottom of the Marianas Trench, made entirely of see-through, pressure-proof glass. So when you're moving from one room to another, you're walking down a hallway. Now you could I would probably decorate the walls so you would see an insinuation of where the walls were. But anytime you looked at a wall, there's no wall. Yeah. There's the blackness of the ocean. And I've got a fucking lever that I can hit, or just maybe a command that I can speak, turns on a bunch of floodlights down there so I can see all the fucking shit that's floating around so I can have a day-night cycle. I get a bunch of like sun lamps and point them inward and give myself a fucking illusion of a day-night cycle down there. Then I've got like special fucking red lamps I can throw on because red light doesn't exist way down deep, so it's invisible to most of the creatures that live down there. So if you flood a really deep part of the ocean with bright red light, it's invisible to most of the things that live down there because red light never penetrates that deep. See? So I could have this fucking fortress at the bottom of the ocean where I could see, like, during any time that I'm walking around and it's lit from the inside, my walls and floor would just look like eternal blackness. Just the deepest, darkest, lightless, matte black that you can possibly think. Because you're talking about the absolute and utter absence of light beyond the gloomy, like, borders of what little light would be cast out of my thing. Black. Turn the lights off in my shit. It's like being in the deepest cave. You know what I mean? You turn the light. If I'd have a fucking command, lights out or some shit. Boom. You want to talk about darkness? That's complete and utter absence of light. Your eyes, useless.
I'm not as much on board with that.
You're lucky I'm not a fucking billionaire.
You've seen my tripping ass. I've tripped in a fucking hotel room with the lights off.
Well, that's the thing. I would only do that for effect or for like meditation. Like if you and I were just laying there and we wanted peace, quiet, and harmony, I'd just say lights out. Yeah. But you could say, running lights or whatever, and it would lead you to the bathroom. That sounds terrifying. Dude, I honestly, and I'm not even shitting you, I'm not afraid of the ocean. I do not, I respect the ocean, so I fear it in that way. I know it could take my fucking life. Like when we were fucking around at the ocean. Like as fun and jokey as that was, had we walked out a little farther, we could have got riptided out.
Yeah.
Never been seen again. Nobody would even know what happened to us. My mom and fucking stepdad would have just noticed, like, where'd Peaches and Amelia go? We'd just be gone. So you just got to know that the ocean can take you at any moment. And if that's scary to you, I advise you to look at any other part of nature. You know what I mean? If you, anywhere you live, there's something that could take you at any moment of the day.
Yeah, like these fucking trees could go like, woof, woof.
I mean, there's a number of things that could fucking happen.
Fucking car could come tearing ass through here or something if they were insane.
I mean, I would be safer down there than I would be up here. That's the great thing about this idea to me is I would have the only truly secluded place that any human being could ever have. Coming and visiting me would require such a Herculean effort, not let alone knowing where I am, which wouldn't be common fucking knowledge if I had my way. Like the fucking contractors that worked on this shit, you talk about, I'd probably have them killed at the end of it.
You probably want to keep them employed because it takes a lot of resources.
That's true. Just put them to
shit.
Be like, look, your silence buys you this cush fucking job. Building my other properties all over the world. You say, I hear one peep about me living at the bottom of the fucking Marianas Trench. Every one of you motherfuckers is fired. Code of secrecy right now. Put your hands in the middle. My hand on top. 3, 2, 1, secrecy. All right, you're all rich. Now go work your cush jobs. Where you want to work? Kauai, you got it. Go build something for me over there. Where you want to work? Dubai? Crazy. Go build me a taller building than the Burj Khalifa. Get the fuck out of here. Don't say a fucking word.
Dude, if Paul had enough money to build an underground compound, he could find someone to deliver weed to it.
Motherfucker, this thing would be supplied constantly.
Yeah.
Secretly. Disguised as normal fucking ships, right? I would own a shipping company that looked like these old fucking cargo ships, but the bottoms of them would be hollowed out and would drop these special fucking submersibles right over me as it was passing over me. And they would just straight down, load themselves into a port, depressurize and everything, and dump a bale of weed in my lap. You think I'm gonna be down there not living large? You gotta be crazy. If I've got the money to build that shit, you better believe. Dude, I'll put a fucking hydroponics lab down there. You grow indoor hydroponics, it doesn't need natural sunlight. I'll set up a dark room down there that's actually fucking shielded from the outside so it can just have light all day when it needs it. Grow my own goddamn weed. What's stopping me? We're talking about a pressurized environment. Seaweed, yeah. How would you get your internet, though? Motherfucker, don't even ask. That's a stupid question. Oh, is that what that frog was hunting there?
What?
Is that a big old roach on the wall?
Where?
See it crawling up next to the box there? Up next to the...
Oh, I see.
You see him there?
Yeah. I was looking down.
I don't know if that's a roach or what.
I don't even know where the frog went now.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what he was hunting, though. Why he came up here.
Yeah. I don't know where Mr. Frog went. I guess we don't have to rescue them because it seems like they know their way.
The only reason they come up here is because bugs are drawn to that light. But yeah, you would need constant maintenance on a place like that. So I would have to have like a small but very specialized contingency of people that lived in an adjacent facility, like, you know, most days a year on a rotating basis. You know, like have like 2 or 3 teams so that my needs are never interrupted, but they obviously don't have to live in a underwater fucking prison for their whole lives. Because I would build a facility for them so they would live and have some comfort down there and shit. I wouldn't keep them like fucking slaves, but it's just, they'd want to be with their families. They'd want to be on the surface probably. They're not a fucking hermit like me. They don't want to live on the bottom of the ocean. Maybe I could make some deals with some scientists and shit. That'd be kind of cool. Let them build research bases and shit. Nah, you know what? Scrap that. They can build their own shit. I don't want a fucking annoying ass scientist. Fucking running around outside in submersibles and like in the middle of the night. Fuck that shit. Nope.
Well, you'd be surprised. A lot of people would put up with being away from their families for a while for enough cash.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm gonna be paying well.
Yeah.
I'd have to, you know, in order to get people to even fucking go down there, let alone serve me down there for a month at a time. But you know, you pay your people well. Loose lips sink ships. You know what I mean? It's got to be a top secret project. Anybody fucking speaks about this shit, every contract involved is null and void. You all lose your fucking livelihoods. 100%. What are your thoughts on all the UFO stories on the news? I don't know, man. I got to be honest with you, and this is probably going to come out like a hot take right now. This UFO shit, in the times that it's coming out, seems like a fucking distraction. Period. It seems like something for us to talk about that isn't all of the unaddressed bullshit going on in the world. A distraction, a funny little sideline thing to giggle about. It does not feel genuine. Like, that doesn't mean that I think that everything in it is made up or whatever, but it does mean that I think that the timing of this and the way that it's been packaged and pushed by the media, it's all too fucking useful at a time where Joe Biden has functionally abandoned 99% of his promised agenda and is about to abandon the last bit of it. You know, fucking war and rumors of war all over the world. We've got a military buildup with China, along with saber rattling. We're saber rattling Russia now. We got fucking the old IP going at each other again for the umpteenth time, and all of the geopolitical instability and question marks that come with that. You know, it's just India saber rattling with Pakistan, India saber rattling with China. It's just like, you know, all this fucking shit. A global economy that's about to go belly up because it's based on a bunch of stock buybacks and fucking risky bets. A housing market that's about to tank again. You know, the whole nine, the whole fucking shebang.
I think
And
even like some people have said too that like a lot of the stuff is like old news.
oh, it is. A lot of the shit that it's just repackaged old shit that they've already released certain amount of information on. There's some new videos in there that, if you've ever seen a UFO video from one of these fucking planes, it's not the first one you've ever seen. It's just like that shit. You can't see any shit. It's, you know, whatever. It's a blip on the fucking screen as far as you're concerned. There's nothing compelling in it. There's nothing new. It's a total distraction. This is like bread and circuses moment. You know, we got multiple existential crises facing us as a species and as a nation. We've got leaders that are functionally fucking just clowns that have no intention on doing anything other than serving the owner class, no matter what kind of shit they're talking. It's just a big fucking joke. And they know that people are starting to get fucking wise to it. They know that people are getting tired of the hyperbole and shit. And it's becoming easier for the younger generations to see through their fucking advertising techniques and their bullshit. And so, you know, this is just part of the plan. It's part of the fucking, let's distract people for a couple of weeks with this UFO shit.
Well, I mean, honestly, it really hasn't gained that much traction overall.
I've heard a bunch of people talking about it in the last 2 or 3 days.
But I mean, like, just like trending wise, I haven't seen a ton of shit.
Sure.
I feel like the fucking Area 51, let's run like fucking Naruto thing was bigger.
You're probably right. Like, as a meme, it was, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, the internet is not Twitter, or Twitter is not the world. You know what I mean? This has been a distracting thing. The news media has run with it. People have been asking me about it over the last 2-3 days. Hey, what is UFO shit? And I've avoided talking about it till now because I don't think anything about it. I took a cursory glance at some of the shit that came out. It looked like a lot of the other shit I've already seen. There's nothing revelatory in it, and it really does smack of fucking like bread and circuses. Smacks of the government throwing out something to just kind of muddy the waters of discourse at a time when there's all this fucking, fucking negativity and unrest in the population. It's like, oh, here's some UFOs. And it works. The news media is eating it fucking alive. They're covering all aspects of it. It's like fucking UFO month over there. How do we spot the next distraction? Anything that is meaningless. I mean, they happen all the fucking time.
Yeah, even that fucking big plane crash that CNN spent like 3 months on was ultimately a distraction.
Because nothing happened as a result.
Yeah.
Like, fleets were grounded, things were barely changed around, no new regulations. It's just fucking bullshit. Like, if it's meaningless, and when I say meaningless, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's meaningless to everybody. Like, somebody might die. A bunch of people might die. Some tragedy at a factory somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I meant, like the tragedy of like that plane landing.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like all of this stuff is useful, all the way down to the local level where your local news covers murder like it's the only thing that goes on in your city. Mm-hmm. It's the most important headline news is always a murder or a rape or a break-in or an audacious robbery or a killer on the loose or whatever the fuck, right? A car crash that mangled a bunch of people. It's just like if it bleeds, it leads. It's all distraction. The media has been completely and utterly subverted as an arm of informing the public about reality to the best of our journalistic ability. That's gone. It's an arm of the federal government now, and it distracts us from the realities of things. It keeps us fomented in anger against one another over what are ultimately trivial issues, while people continue to fucking exploit to the maximum extent every fucking resource on this planet, every person on this planet. It's all a distraction, guys. I mean, even the fucking music and movies that you listen to, not all distractions are bad, but a lot of the movies that you watch, especially movies, but not just movies, music as well. These things are tuned. Think about it, right? The whole fucking Avengers thing. That's a giant poster for America and militarism and military conflict dressed up as a fantasy film. You don't think that for 20 years the cultural narrative of Captain America and the Avengers running around defending the world, this American group of people running around using their ingenuity and their brawn and their brains to defend the world and the United States against everything. You think that's accidental?
Well,
do you think that's...
Considering the basis of them is decades and decades of...
Right. It's not accidental. It's... And sometimes it's not as obvious as it can be in some of these examples I've given, the Avengers, right? But there is a cultural narrative built into the films that we watch, to the shows that we watch. Our virtues are extolled here. The story of our civilization and how we see ourselves is told in this type of media, more than any other type of media.
Well, it's like, I think that's why True Detective did so well, because it was so different than like all these other cop shows where it's like, cops are good. True Detective went like, cops are irredeemable assholes.
Right. I mean, no, it really is. I mean, it's such a release valve. It's so... We have to turn our brains off. I mean, fuck me, dude. I'm almost half out of my fucking mind just because I spend as much time as I do immersed in the shit that I'm immersed in. Because I choose to be. But I keep one foot firmly planted outside that shit. You have to. And so once again, we long for distraction from this shit. No one human being or group of human beings has solved this fucking shit. It's been going on for longer than any of us were even conceived of, let alone born. So it's like, we need it, and we're supplied it. And sometimes there are messages in it, messages that reinforce our participation in the status quo. And the Avengers is a fantastic example of this. Huge cultural example of just warfare, American-centric fucking values, capitalism in action. Tony Stark is like capitalism if it became a character.
And then, like, even with, like, Black Panther, it's like, oh, you have to be integrated into this larger superhero group that's America-based.
Right. Well, with Black Panther, they had to posit a society in Africa that is basically what America is. It's a giant, technologically advanced, super powerful, militaristic society that protects itself from the outside world with secrecy.
And it had to be integrated.
Right. And then there's Wakanda. You know, that's the United States. No, I'm kidding. It's the same. They're the same thing, right? We had to put a patch of the United States out there in Africa to continue the story. It may seem trite to some of you, but a lot of people don't think of this shit. A lot of people just look at movies in a vacuum, and they think that they don't necessarily bear cultural narrative, and especially when you consider the source of the Marvel films, Disney. Why would they have an investment in spinning a cultural narrative? I wonder. Maybe it's because they're positioning themselves to be the sole spinner of our American cultural narrative?
It's like fucking Amazon and Disney neck and neck on the fucking media thing.
Of course. You know, it's a war. It's a war for your mind and your heart. No joke. Well, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe is just America. It's American values, it's militarism, it's might makes right, it's all of the things that are toxic about America wrapped up into one big old movie that makes you feel like you're watching The Good Guys. Even as they tried to make their good guys complex and conflicted, like Tony Stark, right? It's still that they're only conflicted because they're temporarily misguided Americans. Eventually, they're all going to come together and figure it all out.
Well, like, I think the complexity's lost in, like, how, like, absurdly evil some of their villains are. Like in Guardians of the Galaxy, he wants to destroy the whole planet. Thanos, he wants to destroy half the planet.
Of course. I mean, like, because that's how America paints its enemies. All you have to do to hear that kind of rhetoric is to go back and look at the run up to the Iraq War, the last Iraq War. The way that Saddam Hussein was talked about, and the way he was falsely connected to ISIS, and the way ISIS was talked about as this organization that if we did not defeat them, they would destroy the world. They would cover the world in fucking darkness. They would subjugate the world to their horrible sadistic whims. Your women will be fucking raped and put in burqas. Your men will be fucking castrated. I mean, it was just ridiculous shit that was being said. And that's how we paint our fucking foes now, because that's the level of evil we have to make Americans believe in order to justify another fucking big giant blood sponge of a war. Because Americans are wary of that shit. We watched our fucking boys, just generationally, and women, get thrown into the fucking meat grinder over and over again. World War I, World War II, fucking Vietnam, Korea. We just watched maimed young men and women coming home from these places, both physically and psychologically maimed, and the endless rolls of the dead. That culturally never fucking stopped. They overstep their bounds with that shit. And so now when we go on these fucking, it can't, number one, it can't be a war. And if it is a war, it has to be couched as a global war on an idea. So a global war on terror, but all of the engagements in that war on terror are military conflicts, limited engagements, liberation operations, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's all the same meat being thrown into the meat grinder, but they've found ways to parse it now to where what do you think Thanos is? It's a reflection of how America paints its enemies. As much as they tried to humanize him. That's what America does too. We pretend to care about the places we bombed to dust. One of our main fucking, excuses for this second Iraqi war was the liberation of the Iraqi people. We'd be greeted as liberators, which we weren't. Do you think the impending collapse will be severe enough to destroy humanity or just be another temporary civilization collapse? I don't know. It depends on the nature of it, right? It depends on if it is just an economic and housing collapse that causes unprecedented joblessness and homelessness and the just absolute snail's pace at which the government gets anything for the people done, just pushes things to a boiling point, and we have just a massive kind of period of unrest in the United States that culminates in some emergency measures being taken, whether that means like fucking martial law, or it means some capitulation to more leftist ideals like the establishment of a UBI or something. I foresee that being a possibility. I also foresee it being a possibility that it just starts a chain of events that ends in mass devastation, mass war.
Well, it's like if the climate thing intersects with the fucking economic thing.
Well, as it's doing right now.
Yeah, but if it goes to like a fucking breaking point where it's like one area is just dead ass out of water or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of ways where it could go so bad that it, like I said, it's just a compounding chain of some related, some unrelated events, all stemming from some existential crisis that we face as a species, just coming to a head. And our reaction to it will probably kill more people than the event itself. That's the sad part about this, is that like our reaction to the scarcity that goes on and the death of the oceans and the mass panic that comes with people fleeing inland and people fleeing to the United States and other places that are above the equatorial belt, the mass panic that comes with that, like, could undo us all. Like, if it, because that, the way that they bring that under, like when I say they, the way the powers that be bring that level of societal unrest under control might be war, might be martial law in the streets, it might be a combination of the two, bringing back conscription or bringing back fucking the draft and starting another fucking war in order to secure resources in a world where these resources are ever dwindling. Fresh water. I mean, we just had the VP of the United States like a few fucking months ago stand up in front of a group of people, a small group of people, not on a national news story or national news show, standing in front of a small group of people talking about how, number one, the United States fights wars over oil and has for generations, something that an American politician in her position has never admitted. Number two, that soon wars for water will be fought. What that tells me is if she's out there as a politician saying soon it'll happen, it's already happening. We're already geopolitically positioning ourselves near freshwater resources so that we can control them. Just period, point blank. It's already happening.
It's like, think of how countries balance too. It's like, at the very top of this, we talked about like drought in California, which is affecting a huge amount of crops.
Right.
If that ends up being to the point where crops aren't sustainable in California, how do we feed these mass climate refugees?
Well, I tell you where most of the fruit that isn't from California, most of the fruit and vegetables that isn't from California or aren't from California are from South America and Central America. So those areas are going to become fucking U.S. factory farms real quick. We're going to become real involved with a lot of those governments. We already are. But we're talking about some new coups, some new overthrows, some new installations of U.S.-friendly governments. We're just going to take that place fucking over and install some puppets. Like we do. One of the big reasons Ukraine and Russia are going to fight is over fresh water. It's going to be bad news. There's a lot of bad news. This is what we're talking about, right? And I'm not trying to fucking bum you guys out. It bums me out to think about this shit too, but it's just the truth. You know, I'm not trying to fill you guys, I'm not trying to pump you full of fear that you shouldn't have. These are things you should be afraid of. I mean, look, dude, we sit on, like, the United States controls half of the largest freshwater reserve in the world. Right? Or how much of the Great Lakes are United States territory? Isn't some of it Canadian, some of it, but whatever. The Great Lakes are the largest freshwater reserve in the world. We control that shit, which is good news for us in the long run, but bad news for us in the long run because that makes us the target of everybody in the fucking world.
21% of the world's surface fresh water by volume.
Cha-ching! We want more.
That's why I was trying to sell Michigan to you for a while.
Yeah.
You wouldn't hear it.
Hey, maybe I was wrong. Maybe we should do it. Why don't we treat the ocean with more respect, given that it was the starting point of most life on Earth? Because most people don't give a fuck about that. They don't see themselves as destroying the ocean when they perpetuate a fucking society that's based on plastic. And I point my finger, the finger right back at myself. I order fucking fast food. I get plastic cups. It goes in the recycling bin, but I know what happens to that shit. It gets sold to China for pennies on the dollar, and what they can't use, they dump in the ocean.
Yeah, like I guarantee you the fucking plastic wrap around your pizza probably isn't going anywhere.
See what I mean?
Plastic wrap.
That's what I mean, though. Like, it's like we all are in a position where we're almost forced to participate in that aspect of destroying the fucking ocean. So how...
Like, a less egregious example would be, like, even if we bought salad, like, those come in plastic tubs that can't be recycled.
Right. It's just, there's hardly any way that you can fucking get around it unless you have a whole fucking self-sustaining farm that you live on.
Wrapped in plastic.
Right. And even if you lived on a farm, you're going to want to use plastic fucking things to store your shit in. So it's just like, you know, we live in a... Like, we're utterly dependent on petroleum products. Plastic being one of them. A major one of them. And our society doesn't want to think about functioning without those things. Because we see it as a step backwards, which it would be. Unless we can come up with some kind of fucking biodegradable, renewable fucking replacement.
Well, they put plastic on things that don't even need it. It's like our cigarettes don't really need a fucking plastic wrap on them.
It's for freshness.
Yeah. Our cereal probably could have been fine, because did cereal used to come just in the box without the plastic bag?
Nope, it always had the plastic bag.
It did?
Yeah, when I was a kid, it always had the plastic bag. Yeah. You gotta have freshness. Some shit needs a little fucking thing. Maybe it doesn't have to be plastic, but it needs a fucking thing. Otherwise, it goes stale on your goddamn shelf. That's like glass is what people used to use. If you wanted to keep your cereal fresh, you bought it in a fucking, you know, sack, and you brought it home, you put it in a big glass jar. Seal it up. Yeah, that's not a fucking cockroach. That's just a big old June beetle. Oh my god, they're huge.
They're ascending.
Ugh. You nasty fuck. Get out of here, bro. Get out. Boo. Ugh.
Mr. Frog.
Yeah, get the frogs, man. I'm gonna call the frogs on your bitch ass. Get out.
He's still there. He just moved over to
Dude, do you not see what's going down?
Mr. Frog, please.
Disgusting fucks.
It's like, you pretty much can't buy food that doesn't have plastic at this point.
No, so we're utterly dependent upon it as a society for shipping food to every corner of the fucking United States freshly, and keeping things fresh in our houses, and having things delivered in a hermetically sealed, semi-fresh environment where we can be somewhat assured that the contents within are not tampered with or, spoiled by exposure to somebody else's germs or whatever the fuck, right? So we've got this fucking society that's built around that, and none of us want to imagine that we have to give that up in order to save the ocean. That's why nobody gives a fuck about the ocean. That's why nobody even bothers to talk about it, really. Is because we can't stand the idea that it's us that killed it, and we can't stand the idea that in order for it to bounce back in any capacity, we're going to have to stop killing it, which means stop dumping fucking chemicals in it. What corporation wants to do that? None. Any corporation that's functionally dumping some kind of waste into the ocean doesn't want to stop doing it. Any human being that's sucking down plastic and benefiting from plastic and going to the grocery store and buying everything wrapped in plastic, they don't want to have to buy glass jars and fill them up with their fucking dry goods and shit like they used to have to do back in the day before plastic. You know what I mean? So fuck the ocean. And that's really like the point, is like corporate nihilism. A lot of times people, like Christians, railed against corporate nihilism because it was morally bankrupt. I disagree to a point, to this point. The nihilism instilled by corporatism and capitalism is what killed this fucking planet. Because it made us all feel that we are so fucking powerless to stop it, and that why not participate in the convenience? I'm just as fucking guilty as you are, and you are. I know it sucks for me to fucking grab a goddamn plastic thing and get a plastic soda and get a plastic this. I do it anyway.
Like, would you place more blame on the companies that, like, push plastic and integrated it into everything in our lives, or do you think some of the onus is on the consumer?
Yeah, it's both. I mean, the companies that push plastics and make no effort to fucking replace them, and make no effort to reduce them, and make no effort to stop pushing them in ever more ridiculous amounts on the consumers, are to blame. And the consumers themselves, who continue to heap this plastic up, buy everything that they can that's plastic, throw it all away, flush it down the toilet, throw it in the wrong goddamn trash container so it does end up in a landfill or the ocean. You know what I mean? It's just like, we're all to blame. Nobody is blameless. Nobody gets to fucking look at their hands like Lady Macbeth and see no blood. All right? We're all Lady Macbeth. There's blood on our hands here. Out, damn spot ain't gonna cut it. Don't mind me just listening. Boo microplastics. That's right, lobotomies and monopolies. That's right. So, man, you guys drag me down the doomer hole a lot. Is this even functionally, like, useful, or is this just fucking doom stroking? Like, honestly, at this point. Because, like, I had fun talking about this. Not fun, but it was interesting to me talking about this. But is this just because I'm fucking obsessed with it? Or are we just doom stroking? Because I don't know what else to do at this point. Like, the fucking topic comes up. It's a big topic. It's an important topic. I know that much. But in this community, are we doom stroking? Or what? Given a choice within financial viability, I'd hope people would always choose the better things, such as glass over plastic. I straight up can't drink from plastic because I'm a super taster. Well, I mean, yeah, some people can taste the shit. But, I don't know, whatever. Sometimes the only option is death. Plain and simple. The Temple of Doom, dude. I can't help but I'll allow that type of thinking into my life pretty often, because I feel like as a human being that knows it's coming, isn't it stupid not to at the very least fucking ponder it and talk about it when you can? Like, isn't it stupid to not try to fucking at the very least raise awareness about it, or fucking commiserate about it at the very least, as psychological comfort, if nothing else? You know, but I also don't want to fucking bar people out of these, because every time they goddamn fucking come to it, I'm talking about the end of the world. You know, I don't want to be that dude standing on the fucking corner with the end is nigh sign, but I really have become that guy. And so if I'm going to be that guy, how to best be that guy, you know?
Winged Beetle, I think you're anthropomorphizing the Earth a bit much, saying that it's like the defense system of the Earth to heat up.
I mean, I see the parallels, though.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, that's what the body does.
Yeah.
But, yeah. The Earth is not, well...
I don't think it benefits or detracts based on how hot it is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just for our species. It's very human-centric thinking.
Yeah. Like, there have been, you know, warm periods where, like, all the giant insects were chilling and stuff.
Oh, there's a number of periods that had lower oxygen content in the air, and fucking that necessitated these larger fucking animals, or sorry, higher oxygen content in the air, which gave rise to these larger animals and these greenhouse states that led rise to these huge swaths of jungle, which we know are like absolutely rich with life. You can't fucking throw a pebble in a rainforest without hitting like 10 types of fucking life. They're just like life factories. So, you know, this planet becoming a hothouse is not necessarily the problem we're facing, though. We're facing the death of the oceans, which is instrumental in feeding the nutrients that gets to these jungles. We're talking about the desertification of the planet, which is different from turning it into what we've seen in the past, which is this hothouse kind of greenhouse heavy, jungle, wet, hot, humid environment on the planet. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about functionally desertifying the planet, shutting down the ocean's ability to process fucking oxygen, shutting down the weather system, shutting down the rain cycle, shutting it down, turning everything into the goddamn Sahara Desert is what I'm fucking talking about. That's what I mean when I say the desertification of the planet. That's what's happening right here where we live. This is an area that for a long time, well, the area that we live in right now used to be a primeval forest. Before that, it was a giant glacial lake carved out by a giant glacier in the last fucking ice age. Then it was a giant primeval forest that stretched as far as the fucking eye can see. Now it's a place that's starving of thirst, where the water table has dropped absurdly. We're talking about the turning of the planet into a desert. And we're accelerating that with our own extraction of things. It's not like it's just happening and we all have to go like, oh fuck, well it's happening. Well, that's happening too, but we're cutting down the rainforests. We're polluting the oceans. We're belching greenhouse gases into the fucking atmosphere, further accelerating the cycle that we're talking about. That's why the climate scientists from when I was a kid were wrong. They weren't wrong about what was going to happen. They were wrong about how fast it was going to happen. They underestimated by 20, 30, 40, 50 years in some cases where we are now. So that was their big mistake back in the 80s, was that their climate models were far too fucking generous, because they assumed that we were going to do something about this. Well, we did. We doubled and tripled and quadrupled our fucking carbon output.
the media too focused on like the.
I don't know if
most-
people can hear you with the train. Maybe I'm sorry.
Okay.
No. Let's just put a pin in it for a second. Let the train finish going by. So I want people to be able to hear you. I can hear you fine, but I know that the train competes. Hey, you go ahead, baby. They said they can hear, so.
I'm saying like the media focused on like the most liberal estimates, like in like the year 2000 there isn't going to be any snow or whatever, to make it look silly. Like they focused on the ones that were saying that it was going to happen like super fast.
Right.
Which probably wasn't the consensus at the time to say like, oh, there's going to be no snow in 2000 or whatever.
No. I mean, the understanding changed in the scientific community. They stopped using global warming.
Yeah.
Because they understood that what was happening was calling it warming was a vast oversimplification. It was going to change the climate, change the major climate conditions in a lot of the major population centers of the planet. They started calling it climate change. And that was seized upon by climate deniers as an example of them, going like, oh, well, it's not going to get hotter, but things are changing. Well, they were right about it getting hotter. The average temperature of the Earth has risen, I think it's like 1 degree Celsius, which doesn't sound like a whole fucking bunch, but it's an enormous change globally. And if it rises another degree, we're talking about turning the fucking world into a desert. The ocean itself, too, is rising in temperature, which is, aiding the acidification of the ocean.
And just rising in general.
That's why the barrier reef is dead. Or mostly dead. And will be functionally dead in 10 to 15 years. A boneyard for what used to be one of the most beautiful and diverse fucking biomes on the planet. If the scar of that, visible from space, and its bone white fucking desolation, is not enough of a fucking warning for this ape species, I don't know what is. That'll be visible from space, guys. There will be pictures. There already are pictures from the ISS showing that fucking hideous scar on our planet that used to be a womb of life, desolated. Seen a ton of changes in my area in climate since I was a kid. I was talking with my cousins about it. They all grew up in the same area I did. I went to go visit my mom on Memorial Day. We made the drive over. And I pointed over towards the Sierra Nevada mountain range, which you could barely see that day. It was a very hazy day, as is usual in the summer around that area. And I said, how much snow is on those mountains right now? There's hardly any. I said, when I was a kid, into June, July, and even August, snow caps on those fucking peaks over there. Am I wrong? No, you're right about that. Year round. And in the winter, it was like winter wonderland over there when I was a kid. The whole fucking mountain was white. Oh, yeah, you're right about that, too. Not anymore. Wintertime comes to that area of the world, and the Sierras get enough snow to put at the very peaks some snow and a dusting of fucking light snow down below that. It's not even a tenth what it used to be. And that's at peak fucking rain or snowfall in the winter. In the summer, they look like the desert. They look like the other mountain range in California, the coastal range, which is a desert range. Doesn't typically have a bunch of snow on it. That's what they look like now. That's what the Sierra Nevada mountain range, one of the most majestic mountain ranges in the United States, looks like now. So yeah. The place I grew up has gone from a place that used to have maybe 1, 2, or 3 triple-digit days to now it has 3 months of triple-digit days. Unabated sometimes.
No, the snowpack is 4% of normal. And that's the snowpack that fills the reservoirs.
feeds the water. That's the water that feeds the valley that feeds the world. Not just the nation, the world. You better believe we're fucked. What exactly is a triple-digit day where it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter?
Yeah, you Celsius fuckers don't.
Yeah, you fucking Europeans just don't understand. No, it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter. That's a triple-digit day.
Yeah, let's fucking convert it for these fucking pussies that use Celsius.
It's goddamn fucking...
All right, so it's like 37 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, 37 plus Celsius. That's a triple-digit day. What was it? Yeah, it was 106 here on, what was it, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Monday?
Yeah, something like that.
C'est la vie. Hottest place on earth is Death Valley in California. Yeah. We drove through part of it to get here from fucking Louisiana. 106, yeah. And it'll be consistently over 100 degrees until mid-August, maybe even late August, early September. Death Valley will be setting records every year from here on out. At least every other year. Mark my word. Mark my words. The entire state is turning into a desert. All of the abundant natural water supply is drying up. It's turning into a desert. I mean, dude, it has really nothing to... Yeah, you're right. The water infrastructure is fucked, but let me be real with you. The answer to fixing that water infrastructure is destroying what's left of the rivers in California. Dude, I grew up in the heart of California water politics. And I know what it's about. It is about building dams. That's what it's been about since before I was a fucking kid. Before this problem even started in earnest. Farmers and the adjacent lobby were screaming for more dams in California. And the, fucking pro-ecological conservation side of the American, or the California liberal, protected a lot of those rivers from being dammed up. Well, now that the snowpack in the Sierra Nevadas is at 4%, they're screaming for it. And that's eventually they'll get it. Eventually, every last river in this fucking state, every freshwater source in this state will be exploited maximally. It'll start. It's right around the corner for California.
And even the desalinization fucks things up because, the fucking, super salty water that's left just gets thrown into the ocean that fucks up the salt level and shit.
It's ridiculous. Desalinization, there are a few plants that run in California. It's enormously expensive, enormously energy intensive to run. It is not an answer for supplying all of California's people, let alone all the crops in California with water. And not just for the reason that you said, but absolutely because of that. Mass desalinization plants would completely throw off the fucking saline level of the surrounding ocean, destroy ecosystems all up and down the coast of California. Be over.
Yeah, if we went fucking gung-ho and did one every
Right.
100
Instead of
miles
having 2 or 3 or 4, maybe, I think max. I can't
I think
remember.
there's 10.
Yeah, right. There would have to be 100.
Yeah.
Or 200 of them. And even then, that would probably not supply the water that's needed to fucking functionally return the farms to normal. So you're talking about, it's just absurdity. It's desalinization is not going to work. It'll be dams. And there are a few, I don't know the names of them, but there are a few undammed stretches of river in California that are still pristine, as pristine as they can be with the reduced water supply, and they will be dammed. I didn't say it would change the salt levels in the ocean. I said it would throw off the fucking salt balance in the local areas where the fucking extra salty water is being dumped. You fucking idiot. Which, coincidentally, will be right along the coast of California, which is one of the most biodiverse places in California. Don't be a fucking moron, bro. I will stay in California. Because outside of California, there are dipshits like you. Oh my God. It's too stupid to fucking converse, bro. You want to take it back? You want to unswallow your leg, or you going to double down? Dude, I got $100 says double down. Anybody could take that action? $100 says he doubles down. What are you going to do, bud? What are you going to do? Drop that take or double down? Oh, you're on the clock, bro. You just typed a big old salty thing and I responded. Where you at? There's an internal clock ticking and I'm going to put fucking Otello on banning your ass. So if your plan is to just sit and say nothing now, you about to get banned for that plan too. So you may as well just say what's on your mind. You're going to change the saline level in the surrounding water, lol. Yeah, it's going to sit there like a bath. Oh my fucking God, dude. You're so fucking stupid.
You called it. Double down.
Double down. Just get him out of here. Get him out. Let him go. Ever heard of currents, waves? Yeah. Ever heard of tide pools? Ever hear of coves? Ever hear of inlets?
Or just fucking the initial shock to the fucking living things there when it's like...
What a dumb fuck, bro. People are stupid. People too stupid to talk. If I recall right, around 50,000 to 100,000 years ago, all the super volcanoes blew and made a nuclear winter climate for a while, and all humans on Earth are traced to 40 breeding pairs. Yeah, that's one of 2 times that we covered in a show that I did a while back that we came that close to extinction. The other was the Ice Age. So, yeah. This idea that humans are just going to flourish through anything is ridiculous. Like, we've been reduced to almost nothing. So, hey, we might live through the next disaster. Maybe so, bro. Maybe so. Fingers crossed, toes crossed. You get me a drink, baby.
Yeah.
Just top that bad boy off. Yeah, bring him in. Get in there, you fox-chasing little turd. mean, you might not even live to see the next disaster, bro. We're not talking about something that's like fucking imminent today gonna happen, you know? I mean, it might. When Cali dries up, do you think food production will move to yet untapped land in the South Midwest near watersheds that are still abundant? Probably. I mean, you'll probably see a kind of a reverse Dust Bowl situation where a lot of the food production gets moved to these flyover states. I mean, it's a lot of it's there too, and not everything that grows in California will grow there. But I think that we're gonna have to. I mean, it's a fucking crisis, guys. Like, it's not even a joke. You drive through the Central Valley of California now, and there are signs. Every fucking farm has a sign. There's a tractor out there with a fucking sign taped to it that says "Pray for rain" or fucking, you know, build more dams now, or, you know, stop politicizing water, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, everybody out, like, it's the only thing that matters in California right now.
Yeah, it'll be like, oh, it's artificial, it's man-made drought because we just haven't built enough dams yet.
That's what a lot of the voices are saying. It's not, but I mean, like, look, dude. The truth of the matter is that fucking California's fucked.
Yeah, it's just funny how they're saying it's man-made drought. Like, they're half right. Like, yeah, it's man-made drought, but that's not enough dams.
Yeah, it's not because we didn't build enough dams. I mean, we may have plenty of time. When I say we, I mean those of us that are alive right now. Maybe we do. Maybe we'll live our whole lifetimes and everybody will go, I remember listening to that crazy old fuck Paul Zigo. He said some shit was coming and it never did happen like he said it would. But, like, that doesn't mean it ain't coming.
I mean, you hope that.
I do. I wish we all fucking die old men and women. Kicking back and drinking a goddamn mint julep and smoking a hobbit pipe and reminiscing about the good old days and how scared we were when we were young, you know? Man, I hope that for us. But I remember looking on with horror over the last few months as large amounts of idiots on social media told me that a war with Russia, China would be good. I explained MAD.
Mutually assured destruction.
Right. Okay. Got it. And they just told me the other side couldn't launch. Okay. That's basically the adult equivalent of nuh-uh. So that lets you know where those people are at. I mean, that's where most of us are at. That's where most of humanity is at. We're in the nuh-uh phase. Like, things are getting bad, but they're not bad enough yet that we can't still go down and get a fucking double mocha latte, fucking frappuccino with extra fucking unicorn sauce drizzled on the inside so it looks extra rainbowy or whatever the goddamn motherfuck they're serving up over there. As long as you can go down and fucking take your big empty-headed ass down there and get one of them slappa unicornachinos, right? We're not ready to fucking admit that shit's going tits up. Hey, look at that. It's a flappuccino. Thanks, Marlon Benson. I mean, we're the global wealthy. And when I say we, I mean in the United States. I'm not talking about all of us, but I'm saying as a median income place, we're rich compared to, you know, most adjacent nations in the global south. So it's like we're living in what passes for opulence there, and we're spending it on fast food and planned obsolescence trinkets and fucking penis extension cars and just shit. Just shit. Having kids we don't really want. I mean, look at the amount of fucking American labor dollars that are just flushed down the toilet of excess and opulence and stupidity. Staggering. And, nowhere else in the world really, other than the West, functionally has the ability to fucking do that shit. We just,
We've gotten to the point where we just accidentally lose money sometimes that would feed a family for a year.
Oh my god, dude. There was like... Somebody go find the number for me. How much money was it that just disappeared and was never accounted for right after 9/11? It was like $1 billion in DOD funds or something that just like went off the books. Nobody ever explained where it went. It's like Rumsfeld. Yeah, 2 trillion? No way it was 2 trillion.
All right, let's see. On September 10th, 2001, the U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld disclosed that his department was unable to account for roughly $2.3 trillion worth of transactions.
Then 9/11 happens, and that story went... The genie just went... Sim sim salabim. Not that I'm saying that 9/11 fucking caused it. I'm just saying, like, that's how news was working back then. That's how it works now. Some shit happened. It just happened in this case to be the day after.
Or the day before.
No, what I mean is 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
Happened the day after this disclosure, right? I don't think it was planned to be that way, but let's just be honest here. It fucking, like, Donald Rumsfeld probably went when that first fucking plane hit the tower. Because it's like, what do you mean you've unaccounted for 2-point-some-odd trillion dollars? Like, I can understand $1 million here, $1 million there when unaccounted for. You can't quite.
Even billions.
No. Once you put the B in there, I start going like, how the fuck did you lose billions of dollars?
This was a T.
I know. That's what I mean. 2-something trillion dollars that you just, of American fucking capital that you just can't account for? That's not an oopsie. That's not a mistake in the checkbook. Honey, I balanced the checkbook and we're $20 off. No, we're $2 trillion off? That's the GDP of, like, most nations. Are you kidding? And that story just evaporated out of the fucking national consciousness, and now nobody remembers that it fucking happened except for old fogies like me and a few fucking nut job young people. And, that type of shit happens all the fucking time. This type of shit happens every day. He was Nixon's Secretary of Defense as well. So he served in Nixon's cabinet. Donald Rumsfeld did. I don't know if he was Secretary of Defense, but I know he was in Nixon's cabinet. He's also a Straussian neoconservative. Dun 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 dun. If you don't know what that is, watch the Adam Curtis documentary, The Power of Nightmares. You will be informed. Yep. Straussian neoconservative, along with Paul Wolfowitz, who was also a major part of the George W. Bush administration. He also served with Nixon. Both of them Straussian neoconservatives. Dun, 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 dun. I love the music and that shit. Go ahead.
I just want an army of fucking accountants descending on the Capitol to go through every fucking nook and cranny.
There's not a big enough army. There's not enough big enough army to find the rat holes that this fucking country has for money and to untangle the bullshittery. the books of this country must look like a fucking 6-year-old scribbled on it from afar. Guaranteed. The amount of fucking flip backs and dip backs and reappropriation and misappropriation and fucking lost funds to the tune of $2 trillion and never turned up. It literally looks like somebody handed a checkbook to a toddler, gave them a fucking blue crayon and said, go for it, bud. When the U.S. says we can't afford it, what they really mean is piss off, we're not doing it. Exactly. There's no we can't afford it. If we can afford to lose $2 trillion and shrug and go whoopsie, and then the next day wind up the biggest war machine the world has ever seen, we can do anything. We just don't want to. We're not gonna. Hear about Biden talking about lowering the corporate tax rate to 15 from 27 or whatever it is, so the big important infrastructure. Oh my God, bro. Dude.
I mean, I'm gonna hold out my opinions on the budget until it gets signed.
All I'm telling you is here's my take on it before it's all sussed out. Biden's gonna fold. Period. Biden is gonna end up folding, either on the infrastructure bill or on the tax rate or both. He's gonna end up giving away more than we get, and it's gonna neuter that bill in the name of bipartisanship, and it's going to be...
He threw, like, extra, like, 2 or 4 years of public college on there. Like, that's going to happen.
He's throwing shit at the wall now that he knows isn't going to stick. Because he wants to have the credibility afterwards of go, like, at least I tried. When his intentions from the very fucking beginning... And, like, whatever. We'll see what happens. When the budget is signed, we'll pick through it. We'll look at the fucking main components of it, and we'll see where shit ended up. But here's what my take on it is before that happens. Biden is going to fold. This infrastructure package is going to be like every fucking thing else he's put up. It's going to be for sale, and he's going to sell its booty hole out the door. And that's it. And I'll be pleasantly surprised if that's not it. If we get like a meaningful infrastructure bill out of this, I'll be pleasantly surprised. And I'll admit my pleasant surprise.
People fucking, like, put you out like that. You're salivating over things going to shit. It's like...
I'm just saying that they're going to shit while everybody else is at brunch sipping mimosas and eating fucking scones and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not salivating. Trust me, my knees are knocking, dude. I'm scared shitless. Thanks for the salt there, Marlon. Yeah, mods are the only ones that put leaks in chat, dude. For fucking good reason. Think about that shit. What you think about that fucking anarchy if people could just be linking shit up in here? Oh my God. The fucking horrible, degenerate shit that would be fucking linked in this. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even trust most of my mods as far as I can pick them up and throw them, which is not far at all. I'm a very hobbled old man. And you, the plebs among you, way less. Way less even than that. So no, yeah, links are way too fucking... That's a thunderous goddamn privilege in my opinion. Yeah, I know what a hired gun is, you know. I know what a mercenary is. You know. Crack every goddamn knuckle on my hands. And you're gonna listen.
You're bad sometimes, but you're not nearly as bad as my dad is.
I mean, I go through the cycle a couple of times a day and crack every goddamn knuckle in my hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, your dad is like apparently like a habitual knuckle popper or what?
Yeah. And just in general, everything in him's crinkly.
I mean, me too, dude. My back is cracky, my neck is all crinkly cracky, my hips and knees pop like fucking shotguns when I wake up in the goddamn morning. I'll go get a fucking eyeball on what this thing is here. It looks like a goddamn cockroach to me. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Where's my boot? If you were a June bug, bro, I might give you fucking quarter. Oh, there's another one of you over here. Let me take care of both of you. Are you the same fucking shit? Yep. Where did you go? You goddamn scurrying fucks. There he goes. Alright, well get the fuck off my property. And you, sir. Jumping fucking freaks. Where you going? Huh? Where you going? Came on the wrong porch, buddy. You're dead. You're dead. I'm gonna leave you there for a frog to eat. As a warning to the rest of your kin. Stay far, far, far away from this fucking place, you big, nasty, disgusting freak. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call like an exterminator to come out here and do the fucking psst around the house.
Yeah, you think it's to that point now? You just want to seal it.
Yeah, I'll just have them do the spray around the house thing. Just keep the bugs out there. Summertime now, they're starting to try to fucking come in here. Fuck that shit. Chemical warfare, boys. It's us or them.
We'll handle that. We have time off first.
Thank goodness, which will be after tomorrow. Oh, hallelujah. Phew. These fucking runs that we make are brutal, man. Like, I don't feel like sharing our entire fucking shooting schedule with you guys. I don't know why, but it just seems like it's just something I should keep to myself. But
well, I mean, you don't want them knowing what you're
exactly
doing
where I'm off and right, exactly. Yeah. But let's just say that like we've locked into a cycle now that gives us some time off. It lets us take little blocks of time off, but it's at the expense of a like factory of content. And we found a sweet spot where I really feel like all of us are delivering on everything that we need to. There's been some fucking speed bumps from all of us in the road getting there, but we finally locked in. And we're right at the end of another big fucking crunch cycle where we have just been hitting the fucking bricks as hard as we can. And tomorrow is the end of another one of those kind of crunch cycles and the beginning of maybe a little bit of time off for me, which is so fucking nice. I can't tell you, dude. I plan on day one. I think I'm probably just gonna sleep. I think that's the plan. Day one, sleep. Day two, we'll see what happens. Oh my God.
Another?
You didn't fucking learn.
Oh, that's the one that maybe jumped away earlier.
Yeah, I think so. He came back. He didn't fucking learn his lesson. Oh yeah, you see me, and I see you too. Yeah, you better run. Oh, are you flying at me? Ha! Bad landing spot, you piece of fucking filth. Let that be a warning. Now there's 2 fucking corpses on my palisade. Anybody else?
Mr. Froggy, you should have stayed. You got 2 free meals.
Yeah, delicious meals for you, bud. He'll be back.
Or the foxies might chew them up.
No. That's not a June bug. That was a big ass fucking outdoor roach.
Yeah. No, you're probably right that spraying around the edges wouldn't hurt.
Yep. Give it a spray. Give it a spritz. Wood roaches, yeah. Just like those big fucking fly.
Even if they're not the gross roaches, they're
No.
still roaches.
Yeah,
They got fucking trees right there. They got like fucking 20 trees to choose from.
Yep. It's just.
A shilling for a fine kill.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Squire. Many a year have I spent hunting the roach, who could learn a thing or two from watching your lord. Where exactly is over yonder? Oh, over there. Somewhere over yonder, you know what I mean? Over Yander, you know what I mean? Over yonder is not like right there. It's not like saying something, hey, it's right there. You wouldn't say like, if somebody said like, where's the lighter? And it's sitting right in front of them. You wouldn't say over yonder. Over yonder means kind of like, it's close by, but you know what I mean? It's a ways. It's over there a ways. It's over yonder.
Like a hill. Like that's probably a good reference point. Like over the hill.
Right, yeah. It's over yonder. Yeah, over something, or past something, or, you know, a little around the corner or some shit. It's over yonder. Not in sight, maybe, you know what I mean? But over yonder. Over yonder, well, colloquially, it does not mean at the edge of the fucking horizon. Colloquially, people are talking about, like, no, it's over there, you know what I mean? It's right around the corner, or it's down the street, or it's fucking next town over, or whatever. It's over yonder. Maybe just barely in sight, you know, but way over yonder. You see it over there? Yeah, it's over yonder. Like, it might technically mean at the edge of the horizon or something, but that ain't the way it's used. Is that some country talk that, like, not everybody is exposed to?
I guess.
Strange.
See, I don't even see it saying the horizon.
I don't know.
I see it saying at some distance in the direction indicated. That or those used to refer to something situated at a distance.
Right.
Or the far distance.
Or yonder.
So I don't see
So
I don't see anything saying like horizon. I'm just
right. So the far distance one, that's not over yonder. That's just yonder.
Yeah.
Like if you say yonder, that means it's a long ways away. If you say over yonder, that's like saying over there. Over that away.
Or if you said like them yonder trees or whatever, it'd be like
right.
Those trees that are over yonder.
Right. Exactly. Man, I love country talk. I do. I really do love it. So functional.
Dude, it's gone up recently. Look at it. It's coming back.
Yonder? Oh, shit. It's like the roller coaster. It's on the dip and it's fucking heading back up.
Yonder's back.
Coming back, baby. Yonder's been dead.
Yeah, that's the new Highdeology cult. Go spread yonder over yonder.
Yeah. Yonder.
Spread it.
Hell yeah, dude. Yonder. It's such a part of my fucking vocabulary that I never stopped using it during the years that it wasn't used, apparently. My mom used it all the fucking goddamn time. And it was like, it's dependent on geography, too, because if you're outside, over yonder is going to be far away than if you're inside. Like, your mom might be on one side of the house and be like, give me my hairbrush. And be like, where the fuck's your hairbrush? Over yonder. In the fucking bathroom over there, you know? So, like, if you're inside a place, yonder might be a matter of 100 feet, you know what I mean? But relative to the place, it's on the other side of the goddamn place. That's why you're being asked to go over yonder to get it.
No, it doesn't come from beyond. It comes from Ginder, which means over there.
There you go, Ginder. Now you know.
Oh, the Dutch.
Ah, the Dutch. Ever heard anyone use plum? Plum and cherry are used. Well, plum is used like in pipe fitting, like making sure your joints are plumb. It's also used in construction. It just means your joints are at right angles, or your fucking boards are straight.
Well, you haven't heard like plum good or plum.
Well, that's different, but yeah, that's just plumb good. Yeah, I've heard that used too. So plum is a different, a versatile word apparently.
Or a plum.
A plum, that's different. A plum means with like abundance, right? Or no, with flourish.
Let's see.
It means with a flourish, with like joie de vivre.
Self-confidence or assurance. Yeah.
Sure, right.
Got it. Now, the weirdest thing is like sugar plums, which aren't plums at all.
What are they?
Let's do that again.
I don't want to know what a sugar plum, dude. I never eat a sugar plum, so I guess I don't care what they are. Like, I'm not grossed out, but I kind of want to know now.
It's hard candy. That's plum shaped.
Oh, okay. It's just plum shaped hard candies. All right. Yeah, I never had no sugar plum. At least it's not like some dookie ball or something wrapped in candy. Who knows, dude? They used to eat some stank shit back in the day. The sugary cores of sugar with layered sugar on top. Neat. And then, well, plum is sometimes, well, anyway. The way that I've used it, heard it used, is like plum. We're plumb out. My mom will say like we're plumb out of something. As that means completely out, totally out. I don't know why that's used that way, but or I'm plumb tired. It just means I'm fucking pooped. I'm done. I got no gas left in the tank. You know what I mean? We're plumb out of gas. You know, that type of thing. So, and then there's the whole like construction, like it's your angles are right, your fucking boards are level, plumb, everything's plumb.
Well, mince pie might be fruit, but they still fucking call ground beef mince in England, so it's still gross.
Mince?
Yeah.
Hamburger meat. Mince.
I think you remember that from that fucking like interactive Netflix thing.
Oh, I do remember it now that you brought it up, but that Britishery, it just goes out of my head as soon as it comes in. My American brain just flushes it down the toilet of fucking the memory hole. It's there now that you've mentioned it, but it's been hidden away in a dark room that I don't walk into. My memory warehouse has a room in it that is filled with fucking British nonsense. Chav dumbassery. Goddamn queen worshiping nonsense. And I stick it, I learn about it, and I talk about it, and I laugh about it, and then I stick it in that fucking oubliette. I forget. Dude, that's a good fucking term right there. Most people don't even know what a fucking oubliette is. SSDD, yeah, dude. Gotta find my fucking Duddits file, dude. It is a kind of dungeon, but a very cruel kind of dungeon. It's a dungeon that nobody's ever meant to come out of. An oubliette is a place that was built where you would throw somebody to forget that they exist. And that doesn't mean just you. That means you want the world to forget that they exist, which means that they are barred from sunlight, from pretty much all human contact. If they're fed slop that's just dropped on them from above. Nobody's around to hear their screams. It's a place that you build to put somebody that, like, you fucking hate. Like the man in the iron mask, yes. There is also an oubliette in Labyrinth. A lot of people don't remember it. It's a quick interlude where the girl is led down that wrong path by the weird wall of hands, and she ends up in the oubliette. Oubli literally means forget in French, yes. I would imagine that's the etymology of the word. A small place to put people you want to forget. An oubliette.
Any more etymologies you want?
Etymologies?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of any now. They come up fast and furious, though. You never know. And every once in a while, I think of that brass bull from the torture episode. I literally can't believe that that's real. A big, giant, hollow bowl with holes in its fucking nostrils and asshole so the steam can escape. And then they just roll a big fucking bunch of fire underneath it, and they load you into it. They light it on fire, and the goddamn thing heats up and just cooks you alive inside of it. And the sounds that you make echo off the walls, and it makes it sound like the bull is fucking making noises, and the steam from your cooking flesh comes out of its nostrils and asshole. Holy mother fuck, dude. Humans are absolutely the bottom of the fucking barrel. That is, like, so wickedly, disgustingly nasty. The brass bull, dude. Fuck me. Yeah, I mean, chimps, if they were smarter, would just be us. I don't know that they'd necessarily be worse. I mean, they're our close fucking cousins. You know, when we were closer to them, we were probably a lot like goddamn fucking chimps. It's like looking at our fucking past, looking at chimps. Chimps are brutal. 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 They're stronger, more aggressive, but stupider. Crows will occasionally peck one another to death. We build camps and brass bowls and iron maidens to torture our kind with, yeah. The pyramid that pulls you down from the legs as the tip of the pyramid goes in your ass, and you, oh yeah, yeah. Dude, there used to be this place that I went to when I was a kid. It was down on Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. Like, there used to, I don't know if maybe there still is. There used to be a Ripley's, believe it or not, down there. And then there was this place called the Museum of Torture. And it had a bunch of torture devices in it. And it was set up like a spooky kind of museum tour. But definitely like not franchised or whatever. It was definitely like some locally owned kind of carny type of attraction down there on the fucking wharf. And I remember going in there and it's just like there was all kinds of shit in there. That pyramid thing, and they had like some of them they had like animatronic bodies that were lowered onto it, and they would have like scream tracks playing and shit. There was like I remember the ones that were like meant to mutilate the vagina. There was one called the what was it? Something Sodom's apple or something. And it was like some fucking bulb that they would put in a woman's vagina. It's like a metal thing.
Yeah, like the pear of egg.
The pear, that's what it was, yeah. Or they could put it up your ass too. And then then it like expands in there. Like it opens up and just like tears you to shreds inside. Just like, you know what, dude, all this shit we're talking about, like trying to save humanity and shit, let's just fucking wipe that shit out, dude. Let's just cut all that shit. Let's snip that shit. Snip it. I don't, you know what, dude? I bought in for too long to this narrative, that Samwise Gamgee narrative, that there's a little bit of good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and that we have to fucking fight for it. No. Whatever is good and green about this world has gone. The woods of Tuckborough and Buckland have burned, Mary. They have burned. The pair of fucking agony exists. It's over. The fucking brass bull. I mean, nope. It's over, guys. You know what? Fuck it. It's time for an ideological change. No, I'm kidding. You got to try, but goddamn, it wouldn't be easy. It would be easy to succumb to just total doomerism, man. Oh man, it's right there. I'm on the precipice of it. I believe you have to be in order to be honest. You have to at least have one foot hanging out over the void if you want to talk honestly about anything political or philosophical. If you don't, then you're just filling my head with sweet nothings, bro. You're just writing a poem to me. There's better poets in the world. You better have one foot out over the fucking edge. Otherwise, we're not talking. But I'm telling you, man, it would be so easy to just let that other foot go. And just fucking go, you know what? Let's just tilt to the right. Fall off the edge of this fucking pessimistic cliff. Admit that humanity is an irredeemable, fucking cruel, vapid, stupid, self-destructive species that has ruined not only itself, but every other goddamn species it's come in contact with. Every time it's come close to being noble or fucking semi-decent, some other faction of it has come along to put an end to that shit. This is an animal that just is self-destructive. It has a death urge, and maybe we just let it go. Maybe just let it. It would be so easy for me to just cartwheel off.
The pear of anguish has more evidence that it was used in the mouth than the vagina.
I mean, it would break your fucking jaw. Because it has a screw, right?
Yeah.
So it just slowly opens up. It gets bigger and bigger, and fucking fuck that. Fuck the species, man. Ingrid said humans are cool too. Isn't that, dude? Let me go full Rust Cole on you. Isn't that just the story that you tell yourself to justify this fucking thresher? Oh, somebody slopped some fucking paint on a canvas somewhere and it looks pretty to me. Oh, somebody shout out another fucking derivative movie. Isn't that just the fucking fairy tale that you tell yourself to justify sending yourself and everybody you love into a thresher? You know how easy it would be for me to cartwheel into that shit? Dude, I'm right there, baby. I'm there. Whew. I love Rust Cole. This place is like somebody's dream of what a town used to be. I fucking hate when you say shit like that. Like you can smell the psychosphere and you're living in a town of somebody's dream of a town, man. Can you just shut the fuck up? Smells like aluminum and ash. Sulfur.
I feel like you would like the general concept of season 2 of True Detective if you gave it a chance, but I know you're not going to be able to make it past the bad dialogue. I just know it.
Oh, yeah. See, what I love about what I just quoted is how good that dialogue is. So, yeah. This is from True Detective Season 1. One of the most brilliant seasons of television that I've ever seen. I love it. It's got one of my favorite characters ever, Rust Cole. You'll love him too if you watch a lot of me. he's definitely a guy that has done a cartwheel over that cliff that I'm talking about. He doesn't have one foot sitting on land anymore by the time you meet him. He's cartwheeled. I can smell the fucking psychosphere of this fucking place. I wonder what the average IQ of this herd is, Marty. What do you think? Mid double digits. See, when you talk about this stuff, you sound panicked. I love that shit, dude. No, that's not true, Ingrid. That is the fucking gun that they hold to the head of the pessimist. I am telling you, plenty, and I mean goddamn motherfucking plenty of pessimist philosophers have cartwheeled over that cliff. And they have a body of work that is worth considering. Okay? So don't think that fucking cartwheeling over the cliff just means you unlife yourself. No. Schopenhauer. Just read Schopenhauer. Go on fucking the internet here. There's a fucking great reading of Studies in Pessimism right here on YouTube. Listen to that and tell me that cartwheeling over the edge isn't fucking sometimes a good thing. I just don't want to. I'm not built that way. I'm not made of that. There's part of me that's very anchored to humanity. You know, I blame my mother for it, but whatever. Blame aside, I can't change it now. There's part of me that fucking loves this stupid hairless ape and thinks it can do better. Maybe that's my foolishness, but you know, I don't know what time is going to bring for me, whether I'm just going to be emboldened in my current belief or whether I'm going to go ahead and just fucking let that other foot go. Cartwheel myself over the edge, go into the fucking Schopenhauer hole and see what it's like. To be really honest. People accuse me of being down the goddamn hole so much that I want to jump anyway. I get called a goddamn doomer who's given up, who thinks that humanity is irredeemable and shit. All the shit that I just fucking said in jest. I get accused of saying that shit fucking for truth. So much of my philosophy is misinterpreted as somebody that has cartwheeled off the cliff of fucking faith in humanity. Or at least faith in humanity's propensity to change or do something a little bit better than we're doing. Like, and I'm not, man. Anything that I tell you whether it's labor action or mass protest or no confidence, is rooted in my fucking desire to see humanity do better for itself. All my critiques of Biden, my critiques of the adjacent fucking people that support his regime, my critiques of his fucking actions, my critiques of the fucking totalitarian dictatorships that fucking basically exist as fucking arms of the American government. Like, it's all rooted in my desire to see humanity treat itself better than that. My critiques of Bezos and all of the billionaires and the oligarchs that have hoarded so much of humanity's fucking value. To what end? Their own opulence. My constant, unending, ceaseless critique of that is rooted in a desire to see humanity rise up against it, like the foe that it is, and see it vanquished, so that we can try and be better. If I didn't believe in anything, if I believed that we were utterly irredeemable, heading inexorably for a fucking messy destruction that we can't escape from, that there's no hope for us to establish even the rudimentary beginnings of a preparedness for this, I wouldn't even talk to you guys about it. There have been times in my life where I've dipped into that dark place because, you know what? I just got done telling you, I've got one foot there. If I didn't, I wouldn't be me. So yeah, I can be dark. I can spin into this kind of doomery fucking position. But listen, guys, most of what I talk to you about is positive action. Pushing for positive fucking action, positive change for humanity, not just the United States, humanity, and all the rest of the world besides, all the fucking creatures of this planet. I have hopes. The day I don't have hope, you'll know it. I don't even really have that much hope. The day that I don't believe that it's possible, if not probable, you'll know it. You'll be the first to know. Well, maybe not the first, but you'll be among the first. I'll let you know. In the meantime, if you're one of my detractors, don't try and push me there. I may go there anyway. I don't need your fucking help over the goddamn cliff, okay? And quite frankly, having to coexist with you people is making that foot that's on fucking solid ground start to feel like it's got on a banana peel. So just chill out with it, okay? I'll let you know when I'm there. When I think I'm a doomer for real, when I finally give in to what I think might be true, that humanity is, despite some outlying examples, an irredeemable ape species that would be better off fucking gone from this goddamn fucking planet, you'll know. I'll let you know. Like I said, I'm one goddamn motherfucking tumble away from it. It may happen yet. We'll see. We'll see what kind of shit Sunday this fucking species keeps serving me up. We'll see how many more bites I can take. See how many more times I can listen to Schopenhauer and Ligotti. And not just take the goddamn cartwheel plunge myself. You should be a bloomer, not a doomer. I am a bloomer. Do you know what my vision for fucking a far future human society is? Anderson Bloomer. At least Schopenhauer believed you could reduce your suffering. Have you read your Schopenhauer? Have you read your Schopenhauer, Skepji? Because if you've read your Schopenhauer, you know that that reduction is but a seeming reduction. Like we were talking about before, the sweet little lies that we tell ourselves to contextualize the hideousness of our existence. I know it involves publicizing all public transportation, and that makes me sketched out, but yeah, you've got bright ideas for the future. What's your personality type? ZXWZ. No, I don't know, man. I don't put much stock in that MBTI. I know that there's a fucking Highdeology where I did one, and you good luck finding it. I'll tell you that it was when I was living back in the tinderbox, way back in the early Louisiana days, when I used to film from that fucking cold-ass garage set for Cinema for Cynics and TJ's videos. I used to sit at the table back there and smoke joints and fucking freeze my ass off and talk to you guys. It was during one of those. But that's all the help I can give you. Does not feel all that long ago. Doesn't feel all that long ago, but if you think about it, quite some time ago, yeah? Checkerboard sound foam, yeah. Whoa, dude. Phoebe hid Phoebe? Oh, was there like a Phoebe impersonator in here? That freaked me out for a second. I was like, what? Phoebe hid Phoebe? How did that happen, dude? The self-ban? Did Phoebe commit seppuku? Yeah, I mean, I don't really... I think MBTI has use beyond a horoscope. Like, I think it's good for corporate people. Like, if you're trying to find out somebody's general personality proclivities, you can make a lot of inferences from MBTI. And you can put people on teams with like-minded or adjacent, well-working personality types, right? And kind of mitigate conflict in that way. A lot of corporate structures require that you take a Myers-Briggs test or some equivalent. Usually it's the Myers-Briggs. Just as a fucking team building tool so that you end up in the right spot and blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that. So yeah, I mean, it's useful in that way. As far as like finding out about yourself though, that's where it gets all horoscopy. Because people will go like, oh yeah, you know, that's a total fucking ESFP move or whatever the fuck, you know. And it's like, well, maybe it is and maybe it ain't. Like, your whole personality cannot be wrapped up in 4 letters, even if those letters stand for something. I think I'm just kind of like naturally resistant to the idea of being categorized by a blunt psychological tool. Because if you've ever taken a Myers-Briggs test, you don't feel like you've been asked the right questions to find out who you are by the end of it, you know? You actually feel pretty confused by the end of it. So there's not a whole lot of humanity in the Myers-Briggs. It's more of a, you know, machine mind way of categorizing people. I mean, IQ and Myers-Briggs are accurate enough for certain things, but right, they're not the end-all be-all that a lot of people worship them as. A lot of people put a whole fucking butt ton of stock in Myers-Briggs types and all that type of shit. And it's just like, well. Oh, humans can only be so generalized, right? And it's only useful to a point. I mean, yeah, you can generalize human behavior if you look at large group behavior and shit. And there's a lot of interesting stuff to be learned from group psychology, so let's not dismiss that. But let's not also dismiss how differently people act as individuals and how they act in a group. Let's not dismiss the, myriad of archetypes on the actual scale of human behavior. Let's not reduce human beings to a fucking acronym. This is my wind down tobacco. You guys got me too fucking worked up today. I wanted to fucking have a nice stream. Play Call of Duty and can't take this shit no more. I'm a 400-pound man who can barely walk. Is Wings alive? He is. Alive and kicking. Or should I say alive and drinking chili? Drinking gallons of Wendy's chili. He's alive, man. He's still a garbage gut. Still a crybaby. Dude, I think the whole point of Wings as a fascination, because I'm not a dude I don't directly troll Wings. Like, I've never even seen a Wings stream live. I've never been live to a Wings stream anywhere. But I watch troll videos of Wings and I'm aware of him. So I'm like, when you look at that, I think the whole point of Wings is that he won't change. He just refuses to. He's one of those obstinate people that, like, he's going to be right even when he's wrong. Guy named Wings of Redemption, yeah. He's one of a couple of dudes who, like, once again, I don't troll them directly, but I follow their trolling, their career of being trolled because they're dipshits. The other one's Darkside Phil. It's actually DSP that led me to Wings. Yeah. No, not Wings with Tony Shalhoub. Worse. Ban Mr. Yolo Dick Swagger, please. Ban Beat the Surgery, please. Ban Bucket of Chili, please. Ban Wings Shits Himself, please. Ban Wings of Animal Abuse, please. The salt must flow, yes. He actually abuses animals? I don't think so. I think it's just trolling, but maybe. Who knows? Wouldn't put it past him, piece of shit. No, it's all good. Anyway, I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna wrap it on up for tonight. I think we've doom stroked enough, haven't we? Yeah, I think we have. Good night, everybody. I'll see you later.